We're here in Tianau in southern New Zealand, and today we wanted to go out to Milford Sound to explore that area. Unfortunately, because of the heavy rain in the last little while, the road's been washed out, so the only way to get there is by bus. So we're taking a bus and then hopping on our boat and having a little adventure today. So we made it out to the Eglinton Valley. It's the kind of the first landform on our way into Milford Sound. Unfortunately, the cloud cover is kind of hindering our views a little bit. But as you can see, up on this side of me, there's some of the, I think they're called the Earl Mountains, and hidden by a little bit of cloud cover this morning.
As we made our way to Milford Sound, there was a really windy valley route that took us between the mountains to get to the Sound. When we arrived, we boarded our catamaran for the 2-hour tour up and down the Sound.
It was really quite a beautiful area, and it reminded us a lot of the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Even though it was a gray, rainy day, the clouds also gave it a real mystical effect and almost made the mountains even prettier. We even saw some bottlenose dolphins on the way.
After leaving Milford Sound, we continued our journey through the southern coast of New Zealand, around what they call the Catlins.
The drive took us through lots of farmland, and we saw so many sheep. We learned that it's a 7 sheep to 1 person ratio in New Zealand.
We've made it here to Stirling Point, which is the town of Bluff, which is the southernmost point in the South Island of New Zealand. In the background you can see Stewart Island.
Big old anchor going right to the ocean.
This morning we have come to the Petrified Forest here in Curio Bay. We were hoping to come and see some really cool wood, but it's kind of the rain and wind and cold is really putting on a damper on our morning, so I don't think this is going to be very enjoyable. Even though the weather was extremely miserable, the forest was amazing. It was really cool to see all of these stumps and logs that looked like they were fresh, yet they were over 100 million years old.
While we were in Curio Bay, we wanted to surf, but the weather was not cooperating, so we found other distractions.
We're here in Curio Bay, New Zealand, and we're in search of the yellow-eyed penguin. We hear it comes in around nightfall, so we're just buckling down, trying to stay warm, and hopefully see this elusive bird.
We finally got to see the endangered yellow-eyed penguin. We had to keep our distance while he went up to his nest.
Little piece of home right here in New Zealand. And there's Niagara Falls, New Zealand. These were named after a surveyor with an obvious sense of humor who had been to North America, seen the real falls, and named these ones after it.
This morning we're walking down this steep trail down to the ocean through this kind of rainforest. It's going to take us to the Cathedral Caves. These caves have been eroded off the shoreline and I guess are called sea caves.
The caves were really fun because you could only go to see them at low tide, but it was also really dark in there. But it was really stinky too because of all the seaweed in it.
We continued our drive with more lovely landscape and more sheep. We've just made it out to Nugget Bay, Nugget Point, big lighthouse behind me, and obviously the lighthouse is helping the ships stay safe around here. There's also a whole bunch of fur seals down at the bottom that we've been watching playing around. We're here at Moeraki Beach today checking out these Moeraki Boulders. What's really cool about these boulders, they were formed about 20 million years ago, and they're naturally formed. They're not man-made, they're not eroded by the sea, and nobody really knows why they're such perfect spherical balls. Our drive continued to Mount Cook with a stop in Oamaru. Oamaru is the home of steampunk, which is kind of a genre that's been created, a cross of science fiction that features steam-powered technology and the Victorian era. Oamaru is also known for its Victorian heritage, and the whole street has been renovated. It was like something out of a movie scene.
We also went to go see the little blue penguins come in from fishing. They are the smallest penguins in the world, but it was really hard to see them.
This place is really cool. They call it the Elephant Rocks.
The rocks are really big and we enjoyed climbing on them.
Our next drive took us past the glacial lakes of Pukaki and Tekapo on our way to Mount Cook.